Venice Travel Guide. Welcome to our concise city guide for Venice, specifically tailored for your Venice vacation or short-term stay in our charming city. We will discuss in this article how to get to Venice, what to see, and later also explore the nightlife, where to go, and where you can go out a bit in Venice. Let's just take a look at the whole thing now. And we start the journey to Venice. Firstly, I'd like to briefly show you where Venice is situated. Most people know where Venice is, but I still want to show it to you. We have northern Italy. Here on the Adriatic Sea lies Venice. Here is Innsbruck, and that already determines the arrival. And there are multiple options for reaching there. Firstly, you have the choice to travel by train. There are continuous intercities or Eurocities from Munich to Venice. Then, my paparized connection, however, you have to book there well in advance. Always check if it's currently available, the night jet from Munich to Venice. You can even get it from Stuttgart if you travel by train. The next thing is, of course, you can also drive by car. Coming by car, you would come from Germany, depending on where you come from, either here via the A7 and then via Innsbruck over the Brenner Pass Bosen to Venice, or you can drive from Munich via the Inntal also to Venice. One also has a nice opportunity to drive the route, which I found very, very beautiful back then in Trento, and then drive around here. Now I just have to see where exactly here to Padua and then down here. I did that one time. That was truly a very, very beautiful country road. I need to check if I can inform you about a city that you absolutely must visit in Trento. It goes through Lowenegg and down here, a beautiful road through the Alps. Then you come up here, can drive on the highway or take the country road, although country roads near Venice are exhausting as they are very urbanized and you can't drive nicely there due to the high level of urbanization. At the latest from here, I would advise you to take the highway again. And yes, then Venice. But there is also another possibility. You can arrive and land by plane. The airport of Venice is situated up here, and the amazing thing is the city center is right here, and you can transfer from the plane to the water directly using a ship from this spot and go to Venice. I don't find it ecologically quite okay, but you can still do it. Sometimes it really makes sense, especially. And the last thing is, which I would like to recommend to you, and now I am surprised myself, but I really have to show you that. You can, of course, also arrive by bicycle. There is a bicycle path from Munich to Venice. There are plenty of videos about it. You just have to search on YouTube for the Munich-Venice long-distance cycle path, and you can also do it. It takes 3 to 4 days, and then it's all good. But that's not everything, of course. When you arrive, you have to lock the car, at least, and also lock the bicycle. There are 2 options for the car. Let's start with the pragmatic stories. One is here at Piazza Roma, and there are 2 parking garages at Piazza Roma, namely this one and this parking garage San Marco. I don't know what it's called here. I think it's called Piazza Roma. There are 2 parking garages. They are expensive, but you are right in the city, and that's one option. The other option is also here, that is Roncetto. This is a very, very large parking garage out here, and you can then take the ships directly to the city center. It also stands out like that when you come over the big bridge here, Roncetto, and then you drive in there. Without a rifle, as far as I know, everything is without a rifle anyway. All advice to the best of my knowledge. A bike parking garage should be located at Piazza de Roma in one of the parking garages so that you can also park your bike there. Due to the fact that cycling is prohibited and penalized in Venice itself, that's something you should not do, for instance. So what is the alternative mode of transportation in Venice when cycling is prohibited or banned? The initial option is undoubtedly by walking, as Venice is comprised of a multitude of small steps. Fold up, hit it. Furthermore, you can also wander along many incredibly beautiful and picturesque alleys. And that means, so walking is the preferred choice. However, at times it can become a bit lengthy. If you really want to go across the city, for example, from up here to the academy, then you already need half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. Not like it's totally without. You also need to find ways. And sometimes you have the problem of ending up in a dead end, in a small alley. And there is no additional distribution, it is acceptable. San Marco is clearly indicated in numerous locations throughout the area. That means at some point another sign will appear with the arrow pointing to San Marco, or Rialto, or Stazione, or Accademia. And then, okay, these are the areas where there is a bit of a hub. Academia is here. You mean the bridge of the academy. And that means this is one of the few bridges that also goes over the square next to the Rialto Bridge. There are still, I can see 3 bridges that go over the Canal de Grande. At the train station, then there is the Rialto Bridge, and then there is the Ponte Accademia Bridge, and that's it. So that means so foot. The other option is you buy yourself, and I would recommend it to you, a ticket for public transportation in Venice. This is not an inexpensive pleasure. You can also make it a little less expensive with a Venice card, but that was too complex for me to apply for at the moment. To organize, anyone who can do it well can write in the comments. I was simply too lazy to handle it at the moment. I've taken the pricey tourist ticket and can share the cost. It's 25 euros per person for 24 hours and 35 euros for 48 hours. But naturally, there's a lot on offer, and it must be stated that you get it very quickly. You get on every boat and go without delay. There's a station at the train station to buy it, and elsewhere too. The single trip isn't worth it. The cost of a single trip, as far as I know, is 950 euros. That doesn't make sense. Then it's better to just buy the 1 or 2 or 3 day ticket. Of course, it will get a little cheaper every day, and then it starts. It is also exciting for families that I believe my daughter was now 13, so I believe from 12 or 11, don't nail me down, you have to pay the full price. That is really quite expensive in that direction. However, you truly get something in return for it. And that is, let us be honest, quite elaborate to maintain local transport there with all the boat traffic. Venice offers a night service for individuals who wish to go out during nighttime, including the nighttime hours. Even during nighttime, you don't have to stay still if you need to go from one island to another. For example, if you live in this area, you can still get there and then find a way to complete the whole thing. Or you can of course take a taxi, but taxis are quite expensive, and a gondola ride is also quite expensive. You have the choice to do that, but I simply think you don't necessarily have to do it. What is your suggestion for places to visit? And the first thing I want to show you is the Doge's Palace. Of course, it is situated at Markusplatz, just around the corner, and there you can see it, the Dogenplatz. And I will simply display some pictures of this remarkable building while I am speaking and presenting. Nicely built. And there is also a museum inside that you can visit. In close proximity is the St. Mark's Square and the Basilica of San Marco, alternatively referred to as the St. Mark's Cathedral. This is also nice to visit. And the Markusplatz, I always have to tell you, go there in the evening or in the morning, then it has a completely different flair. Sometimes you are fortunate or unfortunate that there is also a small amount of water when the tide was slightly higher or the flood was slightly higher. And occasionally there are stunning pictures to capture photographs of. Correct? Genuinely pleasant. So, the next one is, and if you have purchased the ticket, then it is a complimentary pleasure. Take a boat and ride along the Grand Canal. There are multiple lines there. The one stops at each station. Occasionally it's a little tedious, but for instance the number 2 no longer goes from Rialto to the main train station. That indicates she drives completely through. Take a boat, sit in it, and simply enjoy this ride, and it is already worth it to take a look at the whole thing in its entirety. Yes, I mentioned the Rialto Bridge. It's here, it's the oldest in the city. Also filled during the day with market stalls. You can look over, observe the hustle and bustle. I have also shown you some pictures here, and I will also show you some pictures from above of the Rialto Bridge. This is the Rialto Bridge, and maybe you can just take a moment. I also made a time lapse with the boat traffic. Maybe you just take a minute at the Rialto Bridge alone. Then there are still some churches that you can visit, and it is also not at all the case that I can say that is the entirety of what I am telling you. On the one hand, the church opposite here, San Giorgio, is worth a visit, and it is very beautiful. You can easily get there by bus. There is also a coffee there, and you can also climb up the tower. In any case, you can also go to this island. You can also walk a bit. I can only recommend that. there is also the Basilica di Santa Maria de Salute. Additionally, it is also a remarkably beautiful church. And there are many, many other churches as well. Museums too, you wouldn't think so. There are many, many museums. I highly recommend the Peggy Guggenheim collection. It's near the Academia, can be visited, and is very beautiful. And now my favorite. We are now in the year 2023. The Biennale will take place again in 2024. In my opinion, it is the most beautiful art exhibition that one can visit. And it is also ideal for introducing children to art because of the spacious grounds. Let me show you where it is, briefly. Here in the Biennale garden, each country has its own stand or pavilion, up to here at the back. You can see the Greek and French pavilions, and up here is the German pavilion, which is quite nice. By the way, it has a somewhat architectural design. From my perspective, it reminds me of the past. Maybe it's not like that. In any case, this is the German pavilion and garden. And then there is another website. I just need to locate it rapidly now. It ought to be in close proximity to this area. And it is circulating in this area. And you have the option to also go to that place at the Biennale exhibition. And that's inside such an old harbor cottage. Beautiful. And the Biennale will take place next year in 2024, because it takes place every 2 years, and I really think you should go with your children and show them the whole thing. Clear recommended. Go out to eat. There are, of course, countless options for places where you can go out to eat and enjoy a meal. Oh no, I forgot 2 additional tips. Prior to going to eat and reaching the nightlife, 2 more tips. On one hand, if you desire relaxation, you have the option to embark on a boat journey to the picturesque island of Burano. I'll show you briefly, can't do it fully, have to leave it with a few pics. The whole thing is, here's a tiny island, you drive for 45 minutes. And this is a world with many colorful houses, during the day also with many tourists. I would like to stay there at some point, I haven't done it yet, but the houses are all painted in bright colors, and the drive through the lagoon is extremely beautiful. To get to Purano, a truly beautiful place, from Fundamente Nove, which is a crossroads for boats in the eastern part of the lagoon, it will take approximately 45 minutes. I highly recommend visiting Purano and experiencing its beauty firsthand. Once we arrive there, I will give you some time alone to enjoy the scenery for about 20 seconds, and then I will show you something else. After exploring Purano, the next island on our itinerary should be Murano. Murano is another must-visit island, known for its exquisite glass art. Don't miss the opportunity to see the skilled artisans at work and admire their creations. Plan your trip accordingly to make the most of these incredible destinations. This is a place that attracts glass blowers. It's not too far away. It's conveniently located just around the corner and is also very pleasant to be in. And then the cemetery, even the boat stops sometimes. That also holds there. You can also get off and just look at this island cemetery. This is an island, and while I'm at it, thinking of everything that comes to mind, you should or could also visit the Lido. On the Lido, you can drive by car. I forgot about it. So here is car traffic on the road. There is a ferry that departs from here and goes from Troncheto to Lido. Translate that with your car. Here in the rear she drives. Additionally, there is a small beach here. Moreover, it used to be free of charge at this location or in this area in the past. And now it's a bit short for the Obliga. The free bathing beach is more in that direction, but that didn't harm the bathing beach. He looks a bit neater now, and the food there is also a bit more refined. This is right here. When you arrive here by boat from Lido and walk through once, then it is here. And maybe also the tip, if you want to stay overnight cheaper, you can do that in Lido as well. First, take your car with you and you can also get to Venice quickly. All right, perhaps we should consider revisiting Lido if we want to take another look at it. So, going to eat. Many tips and things to eat out. I have 2 things now I would like to highlight for you, where I recommend you to just stroll around and take a look at the whole thing. One is a local resident here at Fundamente Nove. There are 2 or 3 dining establishments. This has the significant advantage for me, Mike, consciously the same, that you genuinely observe the water in that particular location. And this is the Funta Mendenov. There are a few local places here that you can just take a look at. And you have a view of the lagoon. I think this is a very beautiful story. I also link you one, my local type, my personal one. And if you eat pizza and only drink one wine, then going out to eat in Venice is not expensive anymore. And the subsequent thing I would like to recommend to you is the Jewish Quarter. Now I simply have to find it quickly and efficiently. That is located back here. If you go in this way, you will reach Fundamenta Cannaregium. Here on the right and left there are restaurants, it is very nice. And here you can also find dining options. The canal is slightly larger, and that is a bit my recommendation that I would like to give you. Go to that location and have a look there and indulge yourselves a little bit. This is also a bit off the usual path back here. Otherwise, you will of course find pizzerias and so on everywhere in the city center. As I said, Venice is not that expensive. I've got the cheapest pizza. A large pizza was €7. In Venice, you can still find it. Now you must look for it in Germany, I believe. We are discussing the summer of 23, just wanted to say that. So, the next story is still about nightlife and continues to explore its vibrant energy. There are now a considerably larger number of bars distributed throughout the city if you desire to go to the places where the locals are located. I'd recommend Campo Santa Margherita. There are places where you can see hustle and bustle and bars. I just have to find it now. You can already see a bit of hustle and bustle here, where you can go and just enjoy a little bit, and sometimes it is a bit louder. And that is why my recommendation for going out in the evening again at 9, 10, 11 o'clock, take a look at Campo Santa Margherita. Otherwise, I noticed that there are also more bars spread throughout the city, but here it still comes together a bit. And as I said, Nachtschiff, if you live somewhere over here, then you can easily take the Nachtschiff at least every half hour, I believe. In conclusion, exploring the nightlife in this area offers a variety of options for entertainment. But just check with the crowd beforehand, just to be on the safe side. So that's it. Hotel tips, again, let Booking help you a bit. Take a look at Booking, have a look. I have, let's say, if you want to spend a lot of money and if you are really rich, which unfortunately I am not, I want to show you 2 hotel tips. The one is the Marriott. I haven't treated myself to it yet, but let's see if it works. It's happening here now. This is the location of a resort on an island with a pool. From here you can enjoy the view of the pool, which is refreshing and conveniently situated in a beautiful setting. You can take a look at that. It's definitely the Marriott with such a beautiful garden in the back, like a little castle. This is on an island, and then there's the Kempinski right next door. These are a bit of the exotic stories, and another exotic story is the Hilton here. The beautiful thing up here in the summer is this rooftop pool. That's something special, you can do that. And otherwise there is also a luxury hotel here. But then here you can see it, I looked there later, it's really expensive. See, €1,700 for the night. Don't have to have it. Maybe if you have it, I'll let you have it, but it's not for me now. So, however, in all other aspects, make sure to find hotels and those who want to save a bit, and those who maybe want a mix of Venice and still a bit of beach life, of course, go out to Lido for a taste of both worlds. There are also a few hotels with a pool that are not bad at all. So maybe as a little tip, then you don't have it quite so close. Visible on Google Maps, here's a massive pool. Doesn't look bad. Maybe it's a swimming pool. I don't know that for sure now. Okay, but that wasn't it. I didn't prepare for that. Just take a look. Maybe beach again. Maybe that's it. Now I'm jumping. This seems to be a recording from spring where there is not much going on yet, or winter. However, here is a gorgeous bar, and typically this place is filled with beach chairs. This implies that it is likely not currently, as the recording is not precisely from the spring or summer season. And when you walk there, it takes a quarter of an hour to get to the ferry. Good. If you have any other tips that I have forgotten, just write it in the comments. And then take a look at it. If you want to check out the Hilton Bar in Venice, there is now a video available for it here. And otherwise, if you want it in the north, there is also a video about the travel guide Schwienemünde. You can watch it now.